No matter what the team did, the client complained. The design was wrong, the deadline was too slow, the communication wasn't good enough. And after one stressful meeting, everyone wanted to give up. Welcome back to Learn English with Stories. Today's story is about Sophia, an employee who had to deal with a very difficult client, and what she learned from the experience. Let's begin. Sophia worked as an account manager at a marketing agency. Her job was to communicate with clients and manage projects smoothly. Most of the time, she enjoyed her work. She liked solving problems. She liked helping clients succeed. But one project became especially difficult. A new client named Mr. Carter joined the agency. At first, everything seemed normal. Sophia and her team prepared a detailed marketing proposal. They worked carefully for several days. When the presentation meeting started, Sophia felt confident. But only a few minutes later, problems began. "I don't like this design," the client said immediately. Sophia stayed professional. "Of course," she replied politely. "We can make adjustments." The team revised the design. But during the next meeting, the client complained again. "The colors don't feel professional enough," he said. So the team changed the colors. Then the client complained about the timeline. "It's taking too long," he said. The team worked faster, but somehow the client still seemed unhappy. Week after week, the pressure increased. Sophia's team became frustrated. One coworker whispered quietly after a meeting, "No matter what we do, he's never satisfied." Sophia understood their frustration. Honestly, she felt the same way. One afternoon, another tense meeting took place. The client criticized several small details again. This time, Sophia noticed something. The client looked stressed, tired, distracted. After the meeting ended, Sophia thought carefully. Maybe the problem was not only the project itself. The next day, she decided to try a different approach. Instead of immediately defending the team's work, she asked more questions. "Can you help me understand your concerns better?" she asked calmly. For the first time, the client paused. Then he sighed. "This project is very important for my company," he admitted. "If it fails, we could lose major investors." Suddenly, everything made more sense. The client wasn't simply trying to be difficult. He was under pressure. From that moment, Sophia changed her communication style. She listened more carefully. She explained updates more clearly, and she focused on reducing the client's stress instead of arguing. Slowly, the relationship improved. The meetings became calmer. Communication became easier. Several weeks later, the campaign launched successfully. At the final meeting, the client smiled slightly. "Thank you for your patience," he said. "I know this project wasn't easy." Sophia smiled back. At that moment, she realized something important. Sometimes difficult people are not trying to create problems. Sometimes they are simply dealing with pressure that nobody else can see. Now that you've heard the story, let's go through some useful business English words and phrases together with real workplace situations. First, let's look at the word client. A client is a person or company that receives professional services from a business. Imagine this situation. Your company designs websites for other businesses, and one company hires your team to create a new online store. That company is your client. For example, someone might say, "The client requested several changes to the project." Another example could be, "Good communication with clients is very important." Next, let's look at the word complaint. A complaint means expressing dissatisfaction about a problem or service. Imagine this situation. A customer receives a product later than expected and sends an email saying they are unhappy with the delivery service. That is a complaint. For example, someone might say, "The company received a complaint from a customer." Another example could be, "She handled the complaint professionally." Now, let's look at the phrase under pressure. Under pressure means experiencing stress because of difficult responsibilities or expectations. Imagine this situation. Your company has an important deadline, and many people are depending on your work to succeed. You feel stressed and worried about making mistakes. That means you are under pressure. For example, someone might say, "He works well under pressure." Another example could be, "The client was under pressure from investors." Next, let's look at the word adjustment. An adjustment is a small change made to improve something. Imagine this situation. A client asks your design team to change the colors and layout of a presentation before the final meeting. Those changes are adjustments. For example, someone might say, "We made several adjustments to the design." Another example could be, "The client requested a few final adjustments." Now, let's look at the phrase communication style. Communication style means the way someone speaks and interacts with others. Imagine this situation. Instead of speaking defensively during a difficult conversation, you choose to stay calm, listen carefully, and explain things clearly. That is your communication style. For example, someone might say, "She improved her communication style with clients." Another example could be, "A calm communication style helps reduce conflict." Finally, let's look at the word patience. Patience means staying calm while dealing with difficult situations or people. Imagine this situation. A customer repeatedly asks for changes and explanations, but instead of becoming angry, you continue helping politely and professionally. That is patience. For example, someone might say, "Thank you for your patience." Another example could be, "Patience is important in customer service." As you can see, these expressions are extremely useful in real workplace situations, especially when dealing with clients, communication, and stressful projects. So, what can we learn from this story? Not every difficult person is trying to create conflict. Sometimes people are simply stressed, worried, or under pressure. If you stay patient, communicate clearly, and try to understand the real problem, you can handle difficult situations much more effectively. If you want to improve your business English through real-life situations, stories like this can help you both in language and in professional communication. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow the channel for more stories. See you in the next video.